bad thing and one good thing. Bad thing is I've just noticed this midweek. I don't want to speak about it, but actually no, I do want to speak about it. I do want to shed light to it because it's absurd. I've seen this like when we're speaking about football and football media in Australia, it is obviously extremely obvious that mainstream media does not want football to succeed, right? That's been blatantly obvious for decades, centuries, right? It's no surprise to anyone, and whatever reason that may be, that they don't want it to succeed, I'm not going to say it, but you can all, I'm pretty sure you can think about what I'm about to say, and it's something that has been prevalent, especially ever since the NSL started, this whole Sheila's, Wogs and Puffers. You understand what I'm saying, right? It is not an Australian game, put it that way. That's how a lot of the media see it, at least mainstream media. And we all know that there is an inherent bias against football in this country by a lot of the mainstream media, but this week I've just noticed it to an absolute absurd level. It obviously started off the back of the Melbourne Derby, in which despite the Melbourne Derby being a great game of football, ending 3-2, good goal, Socceroos star Matthew Leckie scoring a goal, some brilliant strikes, some good storylines with Fornaroli against his former side, 5 goals, good football, good atmosphere. Despite all of that, the main story, of course it's the main story, is 12 people kicked out of Amy Park. The main story, of course it is. And the simple thing, the simple stuff of Herald Sun journalists, elite, like the pinnacle of Australian journalism, getting just basic information wrong, saying Melbourne Victory fans, speaking about Melbourne Victory fans and how entitled and how bloody. I'll bring up the article because I don't want to attack. I don't want to attack. This is critique. I'm not attacking the person. I'm not attacking the person. I just want to critique because there's a couple of things, right? There's a couple of things. This what I'm about to bring up, and another thing as well, which I saw. So I'm not going to bring up. I'm not going to say the name of whoever wrote this. I'm not, because I don't want to. I don't want to. You can search it up yourself if you're on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, you definitely know what it is, right? There was an article in Herald Sun. So not only in the fallout of the Melbourne Derby, the main story was 12 people got evicted. 12 people got evicted despite that not being the main story. The main story is about how good the game was and how many storylines and the atmosphere around it, not the fact that 12 people got ejected. Like, stop doing that. Not only that, of course, the clip went around of that one person in the city end getting dragged out by security. One person went viral instead of the football game that was happening. And then the person who filmed it, I'm not going to say the name, of course, has gone on to write an article saying Melbourne Victory fans' biggest sooks in sport. It was a Melbourne City fan in the Melbourne City end. How incompetent are you at your job? Or how click hungry are you that you need to lie and need to put such inflammatory bullshit in your headline to attract this negative publicity by football fans? We all know that football is up against it in its country as it stands, right? But the lies and the bullshit media attention that such a minuscule, tiny shit is blown up to ridiculous proportions that happens at football games is absurd. And this is why the country that we live in, the country that we love, is so actively against the world game. It's fucking absurd. So not only was there that, but this came out today, or at least yesterday. So an AFL footballer, Noah Bolter, plays for Richmond, was coward punched by all accounts at a footy game that he was coaching, I think, or that he was at least attending, a local footy game. The Herald Sun title: Tigers star hit at local soccer game. I don't know what I've never seen a soccer game that is played on an oval pitch with 36 men. You can use your hands, and there's an ether-shaped ball. But please alert me to that game of football you're speaking about. It is, it's getting to the point where I can't be bothered. Like, no one can be bothered anymore. It is the way that football is being portrayed constantly in the media. Like, constantly. It is beyond the point of a joke. It is beyond the point of accurate journalism, because it's not. It is not. You are costing people jobs. You're costing people careers when you spread such, while it may not be incorrect, when you're amplifying such minuscule shit to make one sport look bad because of your inherent bias for whatever reason, whether that be a race issue, which I know it has been in the past. You'd like to think that's kind of gone away in recent times, but you can never be too sure. Whether it be that, whether it be the fear that football could take over the likes of the NRL and AFL, which is the two main sports in this country, whether it be that, whatever reason it may be, the fact that the biases in mainstream media who are meant to be overseeing and meant to be, probably not meant to be down the line, but at least not meant to be. I'm about to lose my shit. I'm just sick and tired of it. Like, I'm just absolutely sick and tired of it. And I just don't care anymore, because it's never going to change. Because if it was going to change, it would have changed. Because we've entered a period in society. I'm not talking about sport or media or journalism. We're entering a period of society where we are correcting. We are correcting a lot of things that have happened in the past. Right? It goes from the big issues, and we can all know what big issues I'm speaking about, to the smaller issues. The agenda against football in this country fits somewhere along those bracket. Probably towards the smaller side of things, obviously, but still along that bracket. And yet, it's arguably getting worse. It is arguably getting worse. Am I saying that football fans are completely faultless? No, I'm not. We all know what happened at the Melbourne Derby in December. I'm not going to pretend that didn't happen. I'm not going to pretend that football fans don't at least deserve, well, some football fans don't at least deserve some form of criticism. I'm not saying that at all. But when there is this much bullshit being spread time and time and time again by the same groups of people, by the same stereotype of person and stereotype of organisation, it's just like, what's the point? Like, what is the point? Because you are costing people livelihoods. Fact, when you're doing this. You are putting a bad reputation on so many innocent people. And people, like, this is what infuriates me. This is what infuriates me more than anything. AFL fans, NRL fans, tennis fans. I'm not even talking just fans. Forget fans. Media people. People in general. People who don't support football for whatever reason genuinely do not understand the impact football can have on this country if it was the number one sport. It would be astronomical. It would be astronomical. The impact, not even sports-based, economically, right? Societally, if that's even a word. The societal impacts and the economic impacts that football would have if it was the number one sport in this country is absurd, and people don't understand it. People don't understand it. People will never understand it. People will never understand it. It is the lifeblood of so many countries, and it directly impacts economies of certain countries for the good, right? Because people from overseas come, and what do? They go watch football. They go to a soccer game. If you go to London, you're going to a soccer game. If you go to Berlin, you're probably going to go to a soccer game. If you go to Paris, probably going to go to a PSG game. If you go to Munich, probably going to go to a Bayern game. If you go to Madrid, probably going to go to a Real Madrid game. If you go to Barcelona, if you go to Sevilla, if you go to Rome, if you go to Naples, if you go to fucking Dortmund, if you go to any city in Europe, any city in Europe, you're probably going to go and watch a football game more often than not. You're probably going to buy a t-shirt. You're probably going to buy a scarf. You're probably going to do anything related that directly impacts football. People who come to Australia don't do that. They don't even go to AFL games because they don't understand the sport. That's not a criticism on AFL. I love the sport. I adore it, right? But it's different. It's apples and oranges. And I guess that's a very, very big tangent, right? Because I completely got sidetracked on what I initially was speaking about. But yeah, the mainstream football coverage, the mainstream media coverage of football in this country is a joke. Absolute disgrace. It's a joke. It's been a joke for a long time, and we all know the potential reasons why it is continually portrayed in a certain way. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to be the smartest man alive to understand why a lot of people in positions of power and a lot of people who have influence over media and journalism in this country are actively against football succeeding. Because it's been the same reason that it's the same reason that it was in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and now the 2020s, which is insane to think about. Because, like I said, we've gone through a period. We're currently in a period of society where we're correcting a lot of bad things that we've done in the past. And it goes from the very important things, which we all know, the very, very important societal issues, to the minuscule things that still need correcting. This fits somewhere in that spectrum. To the far less important side, for sure, but still fits somewhere. Right? Because it impacts lives. It does. It really does. If you don't think it does, then I don't know what to tell you. As I drop something off my desk. But I digress, because if I speak about it anymore, I'm gonna blow up. I'm gonna blow up.